Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I do have a special guest on the channel today. Will's here, but normally you guys know every single season I do a haul on all the things that I get. It's the holiday season, my favorite time of the year, but we're doing a special haul today. Today is a looting haul, guys. This is so exciting. So I went into Target yesterday and I just grabbed everything that I could, and I want to show you guys exactly what I got. Got these really nice headphones, a couple $100s, but they're free for me. I got a new iPhone, fantastic, you know, I can't complain whatsoever, and I got this MacBook, so it's gonna make the show even better. I'm gonna be able to show you guys all the stuff that I'm watching with the stuff that I looted. Will, what did you get?
I got this quesadilla.
Oh, wow.
And it was under $950.
That is great.
It was free.
Anything else? You just got a quesadilla?
I got this wallet and this water bottle.
Fantastic. I think I did a little bit better than you.
Well, you went over $950.
Well, it's okay. They haven't caught me.
Okay, fine.
They didn't try so hard.
I should have done more then.
You should have done more.
Stole more.
And seen again a cruel take on the reality that we are living in right now. Stores are getting looted like nobody's business. And we are going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about COVID-19 restrictions in Australia. We're constantly going back to Australia. The Ghislane Maxwell trial that is going to be occurring next week starting on Thursday. And it's Black Friday. So we're going to do a little Black Friday trivia, test our knowledge on Black Friday. I don't think I'm going to do too well. What do you think you're going to do, Will?
I know a lot about White Friday, but not so much about Black Friday.
That's so, yeah, I know it's really hard to get into the Black Friday experience. You really need to be educated on that.
I just shouldn't be allowed to be in the Black Friday experience. They need to get white people out of Black Friday. It's Black Friday for a reason.
That's also true. I mean, but guess what, guys? In California, at least, specifically in San Francisco, none of us may have a Black Friday because everything's getting stolen. Here is a take on Morning Joe, MSNBC, talking about the looting and the burglaries that are happening on the West Coast.
So, Joe, while some of these images, of course, are shocking to look at, they're absolutely not surprising to anyone who lives in San Francisco, given what's happened in the last few years there, which is the district attorney has signaled there, we're just not going to prosecute property crimes. We're going to do it at a much lower rate than it's ever been done. In fact, it will be a misdemeanor if you steal less than $950. That was a proposition, a referendum that passed in that city. All the signals, and it's not just San Francisco, but it's what we're talking about here, are that if you want to go in and steal stuff, we're going to sit back and let it happen, or at least we're not going to prosecute you after we catch you.
Well, I mean, it's in San Francisco. And by the way, I'm not sure what the mayor of San Francisco is talking about. We must stop this. I mean, it's been happening for a couple of years now. A good friend of ours went into Louboutin store to get a pair of sweats. About 10 people stormed into the store, pulled out guns, and just started piling stuff into suitcases. San Francisco is out of control. Portland is out of control. And you look, in part, you're right, Willie. I mean, laws have consequences. Mm-hmm. And I don't know who sent the memo out that, like, over the last couple of years was a dawning of the age of Aquarius, and we actually didn't have to worry about crime and punishment, but we do. We do. And when you don't, these are the consequences. Claire McCaskill, if you're...
Interesting. That's an interesting message to hear from MSNBC. Sort of unexpected. But sometimes when you make horrible legislation, or at least decriminalize legislation that was working, sometimes the issues that arise from that you can't ignore.
I would have liked to have heard of what Al Sharpton was going to say about it.
Right.
He looked so uncomfortable that whole segment.
He did look a little uncomfortable.
Like
I know.
Burst.
He's going to blame it on racism. The only way that he can keep a job and keep coming on MSNBC is if he can keep blaming things on racism.
Yeah.
If racism is solved, then...
Well, we heard it last year from that BLM leader that was like, it's reparations. Whenever you loot a Gucci or a Nike or a Macy's, that is reparations. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's probably how they frame it.
Right, because an Italian store like Gucci somehow took advantage of all these African Americans, and you have the right to go in and steal from it. That makes perfect sense.
Yep. Because reparations, because racial justice, because eat the rich because tax the rich. There's a multitude of excuses that people will put forth for why this is happening. But it's only happening in certain areas, and it's the areas that have chosen to decriminalize these sort of acts. And guess what you're doing? You're hurting people. You're hurting these bigger franchises. You're hurting small business owners who cannot afford people running into their shops and stealing everything in them.
Yeah, I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Jewish, whatever. It doesn't matter what you are. If you're going in and stealing things, that is wrong. And you should be told that it is wrong. And you should have to face consequences for the crimes that you commit. If you go in and steal someone, that is someone else's property.
It is.
I mean, that is like if someone just came and stole my phone. I bought this phone.
Yep.
This was my phone. And you just came and stole it. You're making me, I mean, that's a horrible thing to do to someone. Yeah. It's literally a commandment. Do not steal. And people just without, this is again, I mean, I think this goes to the greater point of like, of the left trying to get rid of God. If you make it so that one of the commandments, do not steal, is no longer a commandment within your society, then people are going to take advantage of it and you will have a godless, nihilistic society.
And what's going to happen is, guess what? These businesses are not going to be able to maintain this. They're going to move. They are moving. Walmart's, CVS's, Walgreens, they're going to start to move out of these areas. So really what you're doing is what you accuse the right of doing. For all this time, we've accused the right of, well, you don't put grocery stores in low-income communities. You don't put pharmacies in low-income communities. You don't put hospitals in low-income communities. Guess what? This is exactly what you're advocating for. You're telling people, go into these stores, go into these shops, steal whatever you want, as long as it's under $1,000 or $950, and you're not going to get prosecuted for it. In fact, if they catch you, you might have a bad 24 hours, but they're going to let you go and nothing's going to happen. Of course, these businesses are going to leave. The commodity, the products, they're going to leave. There will be less opportunities for jobs. There will be no opportunities to buy anything of value because people are not going to stand for this.
Yeah, the thing that sucks is that a lot of these are like small private businesses, like maybe like a mom and pop market that people come in and just start stealing stuff from. But it's like if you look in the luxury department, they're actually running out of private jets because there are so many people who want to fly on private jets. Mm-hmm. Now, people aren't going in and stealing private jets. They're going in and stealing from small mom and pop stores. That's what's happening. Or a locally owned CVS or Walgreens or something like that. And it's like, those are the ones who are affected. It's the people who are making the legislation, who are flying on these private jets, who are buying yachts and cruise ships, like those kinds of people, they're not affected by this legislation. But the people who are affected by it are the ones who actually need either their business to be okay or the ones who need these resources in the first place.
Yep. They will never truly feel the weight of what they advocate for. And this is so often the case with these bureaucrats and elites. They're so far removed from what it's like to be an average American that they just advocate for stupid policies that affect us more than they will ever affect them. Ever, ever, ever. And it's not until, it's so funny that the guy at MSNBC, a friend of mine went into a shop to buy some Louboutins and 10 people ran in and ransacked it. It's not until you have an experience like that as an elite that you truly feel the weight of what's happening. It's exactly what it is. And that is such a prime example of just people not knowing what they're advocating for. If you don't think this is happening or you want to see it happening, here's a small shop in Oakland being looted.
Oh my goodness, there's so many of them.
Everything. Dude, insane.
That literally reminds me in the scene in The Hobbit, if you guys have seen it, where they open the door when the dwarves are coming and all the dwarves fall into the house. You know what I'm talking about, Taylor?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it's like, that's what it feels like. It's like just a copious amount that is unruly and too many people in one place at one time. I mean, the fact that they got the level of organization to get that many guys to come and steal that means that they knew that this is okay, means that they know they can just get as many people as they want, and people are now fine with it. You know, it takes a level. It's not like one guy just going in like, you know, stealing a hat and then running out. It's like you got a gang of dudes to get together and coordinate in a small market or a small business to just go and loot and steal literally every single thing basically in that store. I mean, these are now coordinated efforts because people know that they can get away with it.
Yep. And they're every day there's a new one or multiple new ones where people, 30 plus, 60 plus, 80 plus people are going into these stores masked up and stealing whatever they can. And I can't tell by that video whether or not that was a big shop or not. It certainly didn't look like it. It looked like a small business to me, but everything completely ransacked. Everything in that shop was gone. Everything in that shop was gone by the time that they leave it. If you're a small business owner and you walk into your shop, your windows are broken, your door's broken down, your security system's going off, everything is gone. Your life is ruined.
I don't know, how stupid is it? You go into one of these stores in San Francisco and they're like, hey, you have to be vaccinated to come in here. Hey, you have to have 3 masks on to come in here. Do you have your booster? Make sure that you're staying 6 feet apart and have your glass window pane over your face. And then but then people can just come in and freely steal stuff. It's like, where are your priorities?
Yeah.
What are your priorities?
You can't buy anything if you don't have a mask on, but you can steal something.
Exactly. Like, why are you making legislation that has, it's literally not rooted in anything good?
Yep.
I mean, it is purely evil.
It is purely evil. I can't see how a board of people or a committee of people looked at this legislation and said, anything less than $950? Okay, let's decriminalize that. Let's just go ahead and do that.
You're an
and
idiot.
Didn't think of the repercussions of that. Yeah, there's no, I can't think of a better term for it. It is imbecilic. That is so ridiculous. Here's another video, and this one's close to home because all 3 of us live pretty close to the Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've been to the Grove a few times. I like the Grove.
I live very, very close to the Grove. And here is the Grove, the Nordstrom in the Grove.
We all went to the Grove.
We did all go to the Grove. Yeah.
Good times.
Was I there, guys?
Taylor was there too.
Taylor, you were there, remember?
Oh, yeah, I was.
We went to
You were
the
there at
Italian
Ansley.
place.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So here's the Grove getting looted.
Breaking news from the Fairfax district. Barbed wire and barricades are being put up at the Grove after the LAPD says more than a dozen people looted a Nordstrom by smashing through a window with a sledgehammer last night. Several cars took off after the robbery. Police caught up with one of the vehicles after a pursuit through South LA. You see what they found. It appears to be stolen clothes, a cash register, ski masks, and gloves.
Amazing stuff.
You know what I remember about the Grove?
What?
There was a security guard who, the Grove is an indoor-outdoor mall. Like, it's an outdoor promenade with a bunch of shops. I remember walking outside. I don't remember if he told me or you or someone in our group, but that you have to put a mask on while you're walking outside.
Yeah.
So,
So
we kept getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Over and over again. I mean, I just, they would tell me to put it on. I would just walk away.
But
I never put it on.
The irony of their policing masks, but
They don't police.
get looted.
Yep, they don't police the actual products, the actual infrastructure of your business, of the Grove, is the products and the commodities that you provide, and you don't police them.
It's an upside down society. I remember we were there and all you guys got mad at me because I left early.
Yep.
You always leave early.
It's very rude.
Yeah, but I had work to do. So I left.
Didn't. No, you didn't. You
Yes,
just
I did
left.
have work to do.
I'm tired.
I
Whatever.
was tired.
Whatever.
And I had things to do.
But
Will is the flaky friend. He's a very flaky
He really is.
Los Angeles
That
you
is
person.
guys were
not
wondering,
true.
if you guys
That is
were
not true.
wondering.
I always show up places early, but then I leave earlier.
he's like, yo, I can't go to the beach. My ear hurts.
It did hurt.
Sorry, I can't come out to the game night at 7 o'clock because I'm too tired.
I went to sleep last night at 9 p.m.
Sorry, guys. Got to go home. Got to pet Rocky for like 5 minutes. Can't come out tonight.
Listen, I would love to, but, sleep calls. I wake up at 5. I woke up at 5 today. Went to bed at 9 and woke up at 5.
Anyways, we're moving on. He's the flaky friend. Anyways, and what these shops do is now I go to the grocery store or I go to Target and I'm like, hey, I want to get some nail polish or I want to get shampoo or I want to get skincare, whatever. And I go and everything's behind glass and I have to get I have to track somebody down who works at the store and go, hey, can I get this $3 bottle of nail polish? Can you please unlock the gates for me to grab a $3 bottle of nail polish? Mm-hmm. And also, can you follow me around the store because I want to buy more stuff, but I don't have a key to unlock what I'm trying to get.
I'd love to give you that. Can you show me your Vax card?
Yep, literally.
Oh, that guy just stole a TV.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Have a good day, sir. That's exactly what's going to happen. So now all these stores and small businesses are going to have to pay for extra infrastructure to stop people from stealing their stuff. And they're not going to stay. It is not worth it to stay. So you're going to see this great exodus of not only people leaving the west coast of this country, but businesses and corporations and people who fund infrastructure and fund the economies here. And they're going to tank.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
It's total lawlessness. You're turning it into a wild west where people can come in and do whatever they want with no consequences. I keep Every day, I feel like I talk about this on the show with no accountability. There is no accountability for bad actions anymore. When you have no accountability, then no one learns and things just continue to get worse.
Yep.
No accountability. Where is the accountability for people doing stupid and evil things? There is none.
There is none.
And again, it just strikes me as so ironic that there is accountability if you're checking out at the grocery store and your mask falls below your nose and you're a paying customer. Then there's accountability. They'll bark at you. There's accountability if you want to go to a restaurant and have to show a vax passport. They're very accountable about these mandates, but there's no accountability for people who are completely violating the rule of law. And it's just such a twisted, upside down state of affairs as far as what priorities are. And what pains me the most is, not pains me, but annoys me, frustrates me the most, is if you look at the next, every time more mandates are announced and you see the tweet replies from citizens of Los Angeles who are like, what took this so long? And like the average citizen here is more concerned with enforcing mandates on vax stuff than they are with enforcing the rule of law to have a livable society. And the same goes with the homeless situation, with our parks. It's just, how do you not see that you are actively making this place unlivable, unable to do business, and it's madness.
You can't put yourself on a moral pedestal by saying, don't steal. But you can put yourself on a moral pedestal by saying, you better be vaxxed when you come into this Carl's Jr.
Yeah, putting triple vaxxed in your Twitter bio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you guys are on the West Coast, like I said, who knows if you're going to have a Black Friday. But no matter where you are in the United States, PragerU has a Black Friday. We actually have a Black Friday sale. It's going to be going on at PragerU Shop. You can go to prageru.com/shop or go to prageru.com. Click shop, check out all the stuff that we have. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have headphones, we have speakers. Down below are the details. That is our Black Friday sale. So guys, don't forget to get your PragerU merch, like rep PragerU.
Yeah. Also for Black Friday, we are selling my book. You can get the Kindle version. It's normally $15. I'm giving it to you guys for $3 if you get the Kindle version. You can go on Amazon or the Kindle app, whatever it is, wherever you buy your Kindles. You can get my book for $3, the Kindle version, okay? That's from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. How to Win Friends and Influence Enemies by Will Witt. $3 is how much my book costs for the next few days. So make sure that you get it before the price goes back up to $15. You can get it for $3. That's a steal. I mean, that's a literal steal. We're practically giving these books away, okay?
You don't have to steal them.
You don't have to
You're
steal it.
practically looting Will Witt.
You're looting me. I'm I'm basically a Nordstrom's.
It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none, as they say.
I don't know if that works in this context. I don't know if that's what that refers to.
But guys, now we have a very interesting guest on the show today. We wanted to get sort of deeper into the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, hopefully get in touch with somebody who was deeply involved with it, and we were able to do so. We have Drew Hernandez, who was a key witness in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, the man who got it filmed. Here's that interview. Hey guys, very interesting guest on the show today, especially with everything that's happening right now on social media and mainstream media surrounding Kyle Rittenhouse. We have on Drew Hernandez. He's an investigative reporter, host of Drew Hernandez Live, and a key witness in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial because he got the incident on video. Drew, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
This is fantastic. I've been, sort of begging to have somebody who's close to this trial on the show because I think there's a lot of misinformation around what has happened in the Kyle Rittenhouse case and the subsequent trial. And you were at the forefront of this. You're a primary key witness in this. Did you anticipate when you got the video of this incident taking place that you were going to be part of one of the biggest trials of the year?
I had no idea. I knew that this was a huge piece of evidence, not just the video that I captured of Kyle defending himself and shooting a convicted child rapist in self-defense. That's what pretty much went viral at the time on my Twitter. But I also had more than 80 to 100 body cam videos that literally corroborated all of my eyewitness testimony that I knew the jury would need. That I didn't anticipate. I didn't anticipate to actually be testifying in this trial. I didn't anticipate it to be this big. But this is bigger than Kyle Rittenhouse. This is bigger than Drew Hernandez. This is the right to self-defense that was on trial throughout this entire thing. Because, today or yesterday it was Kyle Rittenhouse, but tomorrow it's the American people. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you have the right to self-defense. And they were trying to take that away from people with all the propaganda, and we'll get into that as well. But yeah, no, I had no idea it would get this big or go this far.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the propaganda around this. Of course, you were there when the incident happened. You got it on video. You knew it was a clear-cut case of self-defense. But for over a year now, we've been hearing about how Kyle Rittenhouse is a young white supremacist who wanted to go out onto the streets of Kenosha and just murder as many people as possible. Were you sort of watching the media for the last year or so and detailing what they were saying in relation to what you had on video?
Absolutely. They immediately mobilized right after the shooting. Antifa took to Twitter, all of their networks and their encrypted apps, and then they would go on Twitter and they immediately went with the narrative that he was a white supremacist. This is what they do with everything. And this is someone that has a lot of experience undercover reporting on Antifa on the ground in Portland, Seattle, you name it. Whenever there's anyone that's in opposition to them, even if it's a black person, they immediately take to Twitter and say white supremacist or white supremacist sympathizer. So that narrative was being spun from the very night that it happened. And watching it all unfold, and it literally got all the way up to then candidate Joe Biden himself on the campaign trail, literally used an image of Kyle Rittenhouse as the poster child of white supremacy. This is dangerous, and it's dangerous because people are allowed to get away with this garbage, and millions of people, even up until right now, I'm getting phone calls, you guys. I'm getting phone calls from my friends and family calling me saying, Drew, I'm getting so many phone calls from people saying they had no idea Kyle didn't shoot black people. It's like the propaganda is insane, and it's so dangerous because it leads to real world violence. People get radicalized over stuff like this.
What has been the blowback for you? What have people been saying to you on social media or in your own personal life? Has it strained relationships, or have you seen things get better for you because of this? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think it's a double-edged sword. Immediately after I testified, when I got off the stand, I was getting death threats, but that's nothing new to me. I mean, covering Antifa undercover, going viral, exposing them multiple times in Portland and Seattle, DC, you name it. I've been getting death threats and from BLM supporters as well. But immediately after I testified and I got off the stand, same thing. People are calling me a defender of a murderer, telling me to kill myself. People are sending me pictures of humans with targets on their back. That's pretty self-explanatory. I'm a target now in their eyes. I was even getting messages on Facebook openly in comments, people saying they hope I get shot. So you can only imagine. I mean, people are sitting here saying that this Kenosha was a peaceful protest from the get-go. It was not. It was a violent riot. It was a crime scene from the get-go. Antifa, BLM supporters, violent individuals, criminals, and arsonists were all involved from the get-go. And when you see the death threats, when you see the retaliation to people like me, the judge, his family was receiving death threats. You could only imagine what the jury was going through. MSNBC was stalking the jury bus on the way to the courthouse. I mean, there was so much threatening taking place. Even the defense team was receiving death threats and threatening phone calls, Kyle's lawyers. This is a testament to who these people really are. They're not these peaceful little saints that just want to get their voices across and their voices heard. These are violent people that use violent acts and intimidation. They're like a cartel in order to get their political points across. They are domestic terrorists. Literally, that's who these people are.
It's so interesting, the willingness to run with this narrative too, that Kyle was a murderer and he wasn't acting in self-defense. And I've said on the show multiple times, you defending Kyle and his right to self-defense is you defending your right to self-defense. If you were in this situation, I don't care on what side of the political aisle you're on, you would want the right to be able to defend yourself. Now, you had an interesting moment in court when the prosecution was cross-examining you, and I want to read the direct quote here. They asked you, does Real America's Voice have any kind of political bias? And the judge jumped in and said, what is the relevance of this? And the prosecution says, it goes to the bias of the witness, Your Honor. And the judge thankfully responded, this is not a political trial. I don't know how you would isolate a person's particular politics. And even after the trial, I've found several articles on you that point to the fact that you are a right-wing extremist and that your place in this trial was clearly biased and you clearly used propaganda to push your agenda and to get Kyle acquitted. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's the thing. Number one, this is why me working for Real America's Voice was irrelevant in this trial and in this case. I wasn't working for Real America's Voice at the time of the recording and the shooting. I was 100% independent on my own dime in Kenosha by myself. Number one. Number two, I have hundreds of body cam footage videos and phone videos corroborating everything I claimed under oath. Now, here's the thing. I sent all of those videos to the defense and the prosecution through my lawyer to the state as a whole. They have everything. They have everything. The reason why they had tried to assassinate my character and my credibility was because they knew how credible of an eyewitness I was, backed and armed with so much footage to back up everything I claimed under oath. Binger knew this. So the only option and strategy he had left was to try and discredit me and confuse the jury. That's exactly what he did. He even came at me and was saying, your videos seem to be slanted against the rioters. You call them BLM and Antifa rioters. I'm like, yeah, because they're rioting in the footage. Like, how I couldn't tell if he was being intentionally stupid or he just was stupid or just trying to confuse the jury. I mean, even when he came at me and he was saying, so you used 2 different devices to record your videos. You used a body cam and a phone. Yeah, it's what we do. They're just 2 different sources. So you spliced them together? I'm like, I wouldn't say splice. It's not physical film. This is digital stuff we're talking about here, right? And he literally was trying to say that I manipulated footage or I made footage, which is not true. Anybody that's involved with social media or video editing, you take the same video on 2 different sources and you sync them. But here, to go to that point as well, you guys, I sent them all the raw footage, all of it. They could see it for themselves. They could sync it themselves. And I said that under oath in the middle of the trial, but Binger just could not stand a chance against me because he wasn't just arguing against Drew Hernandez. He was arguing against someone that was armed with the absolute truth. And it did not go well for him.
That's something tough that I'm seeing more and more, especially when it comes to members of Congress as well. It's like people try and present them facts about something that happened on social media or technology, and they literally can't understand it. They don't even know what these things are. And then we expect these people to be our policymakers and our truth tellers. Really doesn't make much sense. In terms of, final question, in terms of the larger narrative of truth in this country, how do you think this trial plays a role in that?
I think there are so many angles to this question, but the one I will pick right now is the way that the propaganda was immediately mobilized. Okay, this is no longer left and right. This is good versus evil. And you could see it very clearly because the devil is the father of lies. And when you see this unleashing and mobilizing in our society and it thrives, I mean, it's gotten to the point, Will, where, and I've been saying this on Twitter too, it seems like the only white people Black Lives Matter will support and stand behind or stand next to are white convicted child rapists like Joseph Rosenbaum. I mean, you literally have Black Lives Matter calling for communist revolutions in the streets over Kyle shooting in self-defense a convicted child rapist. And they're defending Joseph Rosenbaum publicly. They're walking around with signs with Joseph Rosenbaum's head attached to a figure of Superman, a convicted child rapist that was attempting to charge Kyle Rittenhouse from behind, and Kyle shot him in self-defense. This is how powerful the fake news media cartel has become, and people don't even realize it. And I don't care what your politics are. I don't care if you're on the left or the right. I don't care. Whoever's lying to you does not respect you. They hate you. They want to control you. They want to manipulate you. Someone that lies to your face is someone that does not respect you, and that's someone that wants to literally control your mind. And that is exactly what we're seeing in the United States of America, and it's dangerous. It's so dangerous.
I think that's exactly right. I don't think people get the fact that these people hate you. I don't think people necessarily understand that. And that's been something that I've been saying a lot too, that these evil people who are in charge, if they loved you or at least wanted the best for you, they would try their best to be honest. Maybe they flub sometimes, but you know, that's human nature. But to directly lie to you, to lie to your face in a means to control you, there's no other word for it than hate. They do hate you.
Thank you so much for being on the show. What are ways that people can support the things that you're doing?
Yeah, people can go follow me on my Twitter, Drew H Live. They could support me directly on my independent work on my website, drhlive.com. Follow me on all my other socials on Getter, Drew H Live. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Drew Hernandez, and follow me on Instagram, Drew Hernandez Live.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Drew.
Thank you, guys.
Drew's a really good guy.
He really is. And I always think about when I talk about this trial is what would have happened if he did not film that incident occurring? Because I think his filming of it really showed self-evidently that it was self-defense.
Mm-hmm. And even when you have that stuff on film, it's still not enough for some people to say,
yeah,
this is the truth.
Yeah,
which is scary.
Look at the kangaroo court that he had to experience and all the footage that he had to give them, and still it wasn't enough. Still, they wanted to paint him, not even Kyle, but him as well as a right-wing extremist. Now, let's get into another trial that is going to be happening very soon here in the United States. That is the trial of Ghislane Maxwell. You may recognize that name because she was Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend and allegedly, his showrunner in a lot of ways, responsible for getting the young girls that Jeffrey Epstein would then take advantage of, allegedly.
I don't want to have to be sued.
Yeah.
So we have to say allegedly, okay?
Don't want to get sued for
We're
defamation.
saying allegedly.
Yes, so we're going to say allegedly a lot while we talk about this upcoming trial. But I'm curious, number one, is this going to be televised? Probably not. Probably not, because we don't get to paint her as a white supremacist, and we don't get to talk about racial issues or gender theory through the duration of this trial. In fact, what's going to happen, if they will allow it, although I don't think the justice system is going to allow it, is a lot of people who you know, who you may love or think you love, are going to be involved in the ring that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislane Maxwell put together, allegedly. Yeah.
We're going to be following it.
We are going to be following it.
You know, we'll do as much as we can on this show with our allowance of being able to talk about it, but we will do our best to keep you guys updated on what is happening, because the mainstream media, assumingly so, is not going to be covering too much of this. You know, maybe sparsely, maybe untruthfully, but we'll do our best to give you the truth on what's happening so that you guys can see the expose, essentially, is what it's supposed to be. You know, if it's real, then it'll be an expose, but you never know how these things are going to go.
And it's going to be an interesting trial, because I wonder if they're actually going to be truthful about all the names that are in the little black book that Ghislane Maxwell has handy. Some names you may recognize, Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton, have all been mentioned through the duration of the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislane Maxwell and the sex ring that they allegedly were running across country lines. So are we truly going to get the names that should be dropped during this trial? No. The judge has already stated that there will be no massive name dropping during the duration of this trial, and that they will focus only on the testimonies of the victims. I wonder why. I wonder why the judge has chosen not to do any name drops during this trial. Is it because it's going to implicate not only massive elites and bureaucrats in our country, but also in countries elsewhere? Allegedly.
Allegedly. Have you ever watched Norm Macdonald on The View?
No.
He did a thing where he came out on The View, and immediately as he sat down in the chair with Barbara Walters and Joy Behar and them, he immediately said, Bill Clinton killed a guy. It's hilarious. If you haven't seen this, I highly recommend that you go and see it. But, you know, I don't think he'd want to be, he would get invited back. No. I don't think he got invited back on The View. But it's funny to know that there are people in, you know, that type of industry, Hollywood and the entertainment industry, who know exactly what's going on with these kinds of people, but don't actually say anything. But Norm was someone who was like, I'm just going to go and say it. You know, I'm going to say Bill Clinton killed a guy. You know,
and he's talked about the pedophile rings and everything in Hollywood, in our politics, everywhere. And what I think is going to happen is, you're probably not going to get the true story when it comes to this, because not only does it implicate people on the political left, it also implicates people on the political right. It's going to be across the board. This is something that bears no party. It is completely non-affiliated to any sort of political party. It is everywhere in America. And of course, they don't want you to know that. So we will keep track of the Ghislane Maxwell trial, try to give you as much of the information that we are able to, because I will be watching it, even though they don't want you to. Anyways, let's move on. Now we have some stories out of Australia. You thought it might have been over. You thought maybe it just got a little too crazy in Australia and they're going to cool down. No, they're not going to do that. Here's a video out of Australia.
If you are anti-mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. I don't care what your personal vaccination status is. If you support, champion, give a green light, give comfort to, support anybody who argues against the vaccine, you are an anti-vaxxer. Absolutely. Your personal vaccination status is utterly irrelevant. If you campaign against the mandate, if you campaign against people being vaccinated in vulnerable settings, teachers in classrooms, I'll be really clear. At that point in time, people were actually supporting the idea of a teacher being unvaccinated in a remote community classroom with kids who cannot be vaccinated. I reject that. I still reject it. And if you are out there in any way, shape or form campaigning against this mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. If you say pro-persuasion, stuff it, shove it. We are absolutely going to make sure as many Territorians as possible are vaccinated. That is our best protection against this thing. And if you look at the Doherty modelling that's only come out since, that says if you double dose 80 in remote communities, 5 and up, I think you'll see our vaccine mandate is absolutely crucial to protecting lives, particularly Aboriginal lives. And I will never back away from supporting vaccines. And anyone out there who comes for the mandate, you are anti-vax.
Wow.
Psychopath.
Wow. Insane. God, I'm actually sort of speechless about this. That not only do they want to push this and shove this on people, but his attack on people that campaign against it, who campaign for their own personal choice.
And the fact that he went and talks about teachers and saying, "Oh, you don't want teachers to be vexed, right? You say you're pro-choice, but you're anti-vax," and it's like teachers are not spreading the virus to students. Okay, I'm sure maybe it's happened, but the studies show that is not what is going on. Okay, studies out of France, studies out of Bangladesh, studies out of where was it? I think Portugal was the other study. Studies out of all these different countries showing that these are not happening, that teachers are not spreading it to their students and that students are not spreading it to their teachers, okay? So the fact that you're thinking that you have to get vaccinated to be a good person as a teacher in one of these remote places, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense.
It's a lie.
Yeah, it is a lie. And I don't know if he knows it's a lie. This guy sounds pretty convinced of what he's saying. But his convincing strong-arming of this argument does not do enough to showcase truth. It just does enough to showcase that they can strong-arm the lies to get people to cow down to what they want them to do.
Yeah, and he says particularly the Aboriginals in Australia. I want you guys to look up a video. I'm not going to play it here on the show today, but of Aboriginals protesting and campaigning against the mandates that they're trying to put them through. And he goes through a lot of different facts of things that have happened to the Aboriginals in Australia in the past where things have been tested. And essentially he says that at the forefront of the New World Order testing that they're doing on people right now is the Aboriginals. And that's who gets it first in Australia. Every single time they want to test some sort of new policy, some sort of New World Order mandate, they test it on the Aboriginals. So it's very interesting that he said, particularly with the Aboriginals here in Australia. Really, really interesting.
I mean, go look what... I promise you, okay? I'm not making this up. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get in trouble again. But I'll tell you guys, go look this up. Go look at what Dr. Fauci did with testing medications on people in Africa, okay? In places where they can't even afford the medications that he tested on these people.
Yep.
Go and look it up, okay? I guarantee you will be shocked and flabbergasted at what these people will do to places where they can't get information out to show the disgusting things that they do. That's all I can say here. But I urge you to please go look what he did.
This is not okay. And I see a lot of Australians on the internet saying this is what we want. This is what we advocate for. It's not totalitarian. It's not a dictatorship. And okay, whatever. We can talk about the label that it is. And in fact, I don't even like the labels as it stands. But there's so many people in Australia that do not want this to happen to them. They do not want to be living in this sort of life, in this sort of country. What do you do for those people? What's going to happen to them? They don't want this. And when they say I don't want it and they go against the mandates and they choose not to comply, you fine them $5,000? That's insane. That's crazy. What the typical American can't cough up $400, let alone $5,000. This is insane. It is not okay.
It's not.
It's really not okay. So, I mean, I don't know. Australia's in my thoughts. I hope things come together, and I don't know what's going to happen, because what I can at least speculate on is that even if your vaccination rates rise, you're getting the same stuff we're getting, and guess what? It's not making a difference when it comes to COVID-19 transmission. The most vaccinated countries in the world still have some of the highest rates of COVID-19 cases and transmission. So what's going to happen when you've gone through this massive enforcement of COVID-19 mandates in your country? You fine people $5,000 for not complying. You've shut down businesses. You've locked down people. You've moved Aboriginals to different places all over the country because they're COVID positive, and the rates don't go down. What's going to happen when the failing of your policy and of your advocacy is shown to the people? What's going to happen?
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's already happening all across the world. It's happening in Singapore. It's happening in Israel. It's happening in Ireland. It's happening in Gibraltar.
It's ridiculous.
It's happening literally all over the world. It's happening in New York City, where they have 8 times the amount of cases with a vax pass than Florida. Free Florida does. I mean, it's literally happening all over the world, and nothing changes.
No
My sister was just
accountability.
talking to me yesterday. I mean, she got into an argument with one of her friends about, all this kind of stuff. These mandates and masks and all those kind of things. And she's like, despite having all the information that she gave to her friend, this girl just freaked out and got mad at her, for having a difference of opinion about it. Even though you can show that the stuff just is not working. These things are not working.
Yep.
People won't do anything about it. They
Yuri
won't wake up.
Bezmenov, KGB defector. Despite the abundance of information, people will still flock and herd like sheep. That is exactly what will happen.
Safe in the herd.
Yep, exactly. Now, guys, it is Fun Friday.
I'm having fun. I don't know about you guys.
If you watch the show, it might not have been the most fun topics, but it's Fun Friday. It's also Black Friday, which means we need to learn a little bit about Black Friday. I don't know that much about Black Friday other than people like to go and buy stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that people die in front of Walmarts when they get trampled because people want to go get a
Right.
Fisher Price bike at a half off.
Yeah, because we love consumption, ladies and gentlemen. We love consumption in America. So let's learn a little bit about Black Friday by doing some Black Friday trivia. Found a little quiz for
Amala's
us.
going to teach us about Black Friday because Will and I are not allowed to talk about
Right.
it.
You know nothing about the Black Friday experience as two white males.
There was a commercial I saw on YouTube the other day of it was like a black girl, and then she said she got a notification on her phone that said it's Black Friday, and then she said, "Oh, it's always Black Friday," or something like that. And then she's like walking around and saying black stuff. I don't know. It was strange.
Black stuff. Love it. Love it.
Well, pro-black stuff.
Right,
like
right.
The pro-black
Right.
movement thing.
Well,
Very strange.
let's get, that does sound very strange.
It was.
Let's get into this. Question number 1. This should be an easy one. Black Friday begins the day after which holiday? Come on, you got this one, Will?
Colonizer Day.
Taylor?
White Thursday.
Wow. Let's go ahead and put in Thanksgiving. Let's see how we do. Boom. The day after Thanksgiving has been regarded as the beginning of America's Christmas shopping season since the 1950s, although the term Black Friday didn't become widely used until more recent years. Interesting. Number 2, the term Black Friday originated in which U.S. city? Philadelphia, Los Angeles, New York, Miami.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia? What do you think? Tyler?
Los Angeles.
I was going to say Los Angeles as well.
Yeah.
Oh, let's vote again. Okay, you said Philadelphia. Let's give Will's. Woo! Okay.
I knew it.
Here's the
Told you.
background. Police officers in Philadelphia were first to link Black Friday to the post-Thanksgiving period in the 1950s. Large crowds of tourists and shoppers came to the city the day after Thanksgiving for the Army-Navy football game, creating chaos, traffic jams, and shoplifting opportunities. Oh, looks a lot like America today. They love shoplifting. Police officers in the city weren't able to take the day off work and instead had to work long shifts to control the carnage, coining the phrase Black Friday to refer to it. Interesting. Okay, next one. Why is Black Friday black? Shoppers end up black and blue. Retailers become profitable. The weather is usually bad. It drives some stores out of business.
Well, it just said that the police officers coined the term Black Friday
Yes.
because it's like a blackout, bad
Right.
day event. So none of those answers make any sense. The
I'll
one
say
that does make
business one.
the one that does make sense to me is like you're in the black if you're profitable. So that would be the one. That
So
makes
retailers become profitable?
sense.
Ding, ding, ding. Black Friday represents the point in the year when retailers begin to turn a profit, thus going from being in the red to being in the black.
I guess I do know something about Black Friday, Amala.
Wow. You know a little something about a
About
little
your culture.
something.
Close your mouth.
Okay. Which retailer is the most dangerous place to shop on Black Friday? Costco, Walmart, Target, Dollar General.
Walmart.
I'm guessing Walmart as well. Taylor?
Yeah, it's crazy out there.
It is. People literally die.
Walmart. Woo! I don't know why I cheered for that. The most violence seems to occur at Walmart, 57.1% of Black Friday incidents, leading to the Twitter hashtag each year, hashtag Walmart fights.
Oh, Lord.
It's like bum
Love
fights.
Love it, love it, love it. What did some merchants try to rename Black Friday? Blue Friday, Best Friday, Big Friday, Bad Friday.
Big Friday.
I was going to say Big Friday as well. Taylor?
Let's go Big Friday.
Okay.
Wow,
Woo!
we're actually doing pretty well.
We are doing pretty well.
I haven't got one wrong yet.
No, you haven't. As the name spread throughout Philadelphia in the 1950s, some of the city's merchants disliked the negative connotations and unsuccessfully tried to change it to Big Friday.
You can't change Black Friday. Black Friday's here to stay.
Literally. How dare you? How dare you?
Black Friday didn't ask to be here.
That's funny. What was the first department store to advertise a post-Thanksgiving sale? JCPenney, Macy's, Kohl's, Sears. I'm going to go vote Macy's.
I would have voted Macy's too.
Because they do the
Well, Kohl's
Macy's
always
Day
has a
Parade.
sale, so they're like preemptively have a sale on Thanksgiving
Macy's
just because
is
they have
like-
a sale every day.
Right.
Macy's like 2 months away is like Black Friday.
Right.
Pre-Black Friday.
Pre-Black Friday.
Pre-sale.
Are
Yeah,
you?
let's go Macy's.
You're in Macy's? Okay. Woo!
Let's go. Still haven't gotten one wrong.
The department store Macy's was the first to advertise post-Thanksgiving shopping in 1924 during their Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York.
I didn't know it goes all the way back to then.
Yeah?
The Thanksgiving Day Parade. Do you guys watch the Thanksgiving Day Parade?
No.
I used to.
Used to when I was a kid, but not anymore.
My grandma always like calls us and it's like, "Are you watching the parade?" So I'll be like,
My
"Yeah,
grandma
grandma."
calls too. Yeah, as Taylor's playing Halo, he's like, "Yeah, I'm watching it right now."
Shut up, grandma. I'm busy.
Let's see.
Ruining my KD.
What percent of Black Friday shoppers later regret their purchases? Is it 68%, 52%, 34%, or 16%? I'm going to say 34%.
I was gonna say the 50% one.
Okay, Taylor?
I'll go 52.
52%? It's got the majority. Woo!
Oh my goodness, I'm so good at Black Friday trivia.
An estimated 52% of shoppers purchase something on sale that they later regret.
Well, I thought that because about half of the things that I buy I regret. So I was like, oh, this makes sense.
I don't regret the things that I buy. Taylor, do you?
No, rarely.
No,
I regret so many things I buy.
because we think about it
No, I think about it too, but then
momentarily.
yeah, I didn't think ahead.
Number 8, what is the going rate for hiring someone to wait in line for you on Black Friday? $50 an hour, $15 an hour, $35 an hour, $20 an hour.
It's got to be 50.
50?
No, because
You
then
gotta
you
wait in
spend
line.
$50, you're not even saving any money.
I was going to say
maybe I'm just
20?
hardened to inflation and LA prices. It's like no one's going to do anything for $20